Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the favorite knife of the year. Your favorite knife of the year? I have about 8, actually 9, if you include the one I forgot to bring over here. So we're going to ask you about that, find out what you like. We have a random knife giveaway tonight. We're going to be giving away this knife right here, the super cool Off-Grid Knives Rapid Fire in Stinger blade. That means it's this sort of dagger style blade, and we're going to take a look at the state of the collection. I have a bunch of new slip joints and a bunch of new Civivis from This Old Sword blade reviews, Civivis and more. So we're going to take a look at those. I'm really excited about them because they're models I wanted to check out, haven't, and some of them are from this year, a couple of them actually. So they're a good example of new knives that came out in 2023. So I have that. I have about 8 folders we'll talk about, and 1 fixed blade. And well, I'll just to cut suspense, I'll show you this one of 2 fixed blades. Pat D's Nuts, good to see you here, sir. Hey, Bob, looking forward to hanging tonight. Well, I am too, man. It's great to have you here. I got my full canister of coffee. Ground Fog, great to have you here, sir. I have coffee, I have water, I have This Old Sword blade reviews. Dave, how's it going, sir? He says, what's up, Bob, Jim, and Knife Junkies? Well, we are all hanging out here, and actually, some of the cool knives I'm going to show tonight, I need to tighten this down, are compliments of you, sir, so it is greatly appreciated. Favorite production knife of 2023 is the Reich S05 in Mosaic Damascus tie and Moku tie. You're starting to sound like James Moore. Favorite custom is the Pinkerton Fire Ant in Magna Cut and Black Richlight rock pattern. That is a beauty. I love my Fire Ant, and like a true aficionado, Dave went for the triple edge, which of course I have to yes, of course you get the triple edge if triple edge is an option. Blade Ogre, good to have you here, sir. Hello all, he says. Blade Ogre is here with his 10 knives. He always posts something on Thursdays or something, or maybe it's Wednesdays, and I always kind of know what might be coming. Byron Kennedy, great to have you here, sir. Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. TNK, Thursday Night Knives, Old Sword, Blade O, Ground Fog, Pat D's Nuts. One of my favorites this year, this came out the beginning of the year, the Terzuola Tomashi E. It was announced at 2022 Blade Show, I believe. And man, I love this one. This was sent to me by Civivi. They've only sent me 2 knives ever. I don't mean only. I'm actually very grateful. This was recently, and I hope they like the videos I put out, because I'd love to get more stuff from them, because I love Civivi and Sencut. We by extension, but I only have some OEM'd knives by them. I'm sorry, Jim, can you put that back up? Who was that? I was busy looking at this knife. Ketmuk, how you doing, sir? Ketmuk Nessar, good evening all. Happy Thursday Night Knives. Right back at you, sir. 5-door greetings, junkies, Bob and Jim. Greetings to you, my good sir. We have some gentlemen junkies in the house. Speaking of the devil, Byron says, besides your favorite knives, I'd love to know what was your favorite, the one that got away for 2023. Mine was 2, the Mountain Man and the Kaiser Mystic. That didn't get away. You can still get the Mystic, because that is at tops of my list. I love this thing. I think you can still get this. But what was the other one? WTG, Work Tough Gear something? Mountain Man. Okay. One of mine was one that got away. I will think of it. It's a small batch knife that has a Sponto grind. And it's a man's name. He has a sort of Spanish last name. And it's an SBR or something. It has Jared of Neves Knives loves it. It's a beautiful looking knife. Never got that. And also the Kirby Lambert Rain. Craig Vincent, nice to see you here, sir. Craig, hey all, he says. Craig, what's your favorite knife and one that got away? Scotch and Things, nice to see you here. Sup, guys, he says. Sup to you. or sup with you, I think is the proper way of saying that. Nick EDC, or hey everyone, he says. Well, hey to you. And you got your cool owl. Love that. Mr. Salome Fernando by first name. Greetings, Knife Junkies, he says. Greetings to you, sir. Always a pleasure. Cobalt. Hi, Bob. Hi, everyone. Good to have you here, Cobalt. I always like those little runes before your name, Cobalt. Or I guess it's part of your name. I just don't know how to pronounce that part. Mike Flamian. Hey, Bob. Hey, Mike. How you doing, man? Are you carrying a Randall? Because I have a Randall out on the table, sir. Northern Knives. Nice to see you here. Speaking of Northern Knives, is it next week? Oh my goodness. Next week, we are giving this away to a gentleman junkie. Steve Price, nice to have you here. Blade-tastic Knives. Good evening, Bob, and all the knife junkies. So good to have you here, sir. I love your stuff on Instagram. So cool. This is, and I also love your collection. Very exotic, very deadly. Just like your skills. Okay, so this right here is given to us by Northern Knives for giveaway, and I'm really excited to give this away because it's such a generous generous giveaway knife, and I didn't have to supply it. Comes to us courtesy of Northern Knives up in Anchorage, Alaska. Check them out. Check out Northern Knives. They have a great website and really cool and some very unique stuff on their website. And this is, man, I love ProTech, and I have a couple of their automatics, but I am sold on their ability to do a button lock flipper. This is just crisp and perfect. 20 CV blade steel and that nice aluminum. And it doesn't have that chalky feel that some people don't like. Some people have an aversion, a tactile aversion to that. I like it myself, but this does not have that chalky feel. It's rather smooth, and those contouring contours on the handle really keep this thing locked in. So if ever you were considering becoming a gentleman junkie, even if it were just for 1 month, this would be the month, because the December 2023 knife giveaway is the ProTech Malibu Reverse Tonto, which is definitely a coveted item, I have to say. So guys, Northern Knives, thank you so much for giving allowing me to give this away, or giving this away through me. It's really sweet knife. Blade-tastic Knife says, good evening, Bob, and all the junk. Oh, already said, hey, how you doing, man? And those two sickles you got there, I know they're not sickles, but you recently showed one of those off. So crazy. Love the brass knuckles. Yeah, these are cool. These are from Station 9. They're two French guys, kind of, I don't want to say devotees of, but guys who were definitely influenced from by the French guy. Oh man, it's late. Fred Perrin, and they make some really cool weaponry from the resistance, French resistance, and other sort of World War II, like things like this lapel dagger, this OSS lapel dagger. It's got really sharp rows of jimping here, so even if you don't put a little fob in there, you can pinch this hard and it'll go into. I assassinated a watermelon that was sitting on our bar, and basically then walked away, turned it around to the wall, and it rotted. And my wife never really figured out why, because she didn't turn around. I just got rid of it. Burnt toast. Nice to have you here, sir. Evening, junkies and junkettes. There's usually there's a junkette every once in a while. If there's a junkette, let us know. 98% men on the Knife Junkie podcast channel, gotta say. But check out Station 9. They have some cool knives, and they're based on, one of them looks like, and they're all called like number, this is like the number 4, I think, and they're all based on French resistance style weapons. One of them looks like kind of a kitchen knife converted into a tactical knife. It's very cool. Anthony, nice to have you here. Anthony Shaman, or Shaman, or Shaman. I know I butchered your name. I'm just not sure how. Anthony, very nice to have you here. Hey, K-Bar Dozier is that workhorse. Oh, yeah. The Dozier is awesome. I have a little orange one with the FRN handle, and I keep it in my little zipper EDC case that I have in my bag. Will B, nice to have you here. Will B is a gentleman junkie, also a Nova One owner. So nice to have you here, man. Mike Flamian says yes, M16 with Border Patrol handle. Oh, very nice. A Model 16 is what he's carrying today. I have the Model 16 with the number 1 blade. It's called the SPF, Special Something Fighter, and it's got the handle of the 16, so it's got the grooves. James Moore, how you doing, man? I just invoked you. James Moore says, happy Thursday night. Check out the Tactile Knife Company Archer if you get a chance. Looks like a good one. Is that the I saw prototypes, but now I can't remember what it looks like. But I invoked you because of Dave's favorite knife of the year had some pretty exotic materials on it. Grim Reaper says, good evening, everyone. Grim Reaper, good evening to you, sir. Good to have you here. Northern Knife says that Malibu is the least we could do for y'all. Thanks for letting us hang out and participate. What? Please don't even mention it. Thank you for being here and adding to the conversation, especially people who own and run a knife shop. How cool is that? That's a great perspective. Burnt Toast says, my favorite knife I was able to snag was the GEC number 54 in Mammoth. Ah, that sounds nice. And I had to pass on my first Hinderer. Ooh. But that sounds nice, the GEC number 54. Now, I don't know if you saw, but on traditionalknives.com, they had the number 14 with a pen blade, little pen blade, and then the main blade. Beautiful sheep's foot. Oh, they had some beautiful versions of that, and I knew about it ahead of time. And if I was like rolling in dough, I would have been refresh, but I just stayed away. I was like, I'll check in when it's all sold out, and it did not take long. But those things are beautiful. 5-door favorites of 2023: McNeese PM 3.5 Tonto. I have the McNeese brass knuckles on the wall. Emerson Tim Kennedy folder. If anyone wants one, I know someone who wants to sell pretty much a brand new, slightly carried Emerson Tim Kennedy folder for $200. He wants to sell it. Hinderer Project X. Oh my God. I know, not really a new, but yeah, if you got it, we can consider if you got it in 2023 acceptable if it's something like the Project X, because that's kind of a hard one to get to. Budget is the Miguron Moyarl, just like Stasa. He loves that knife. He's got 3 of them. I just watched his video this morning. Hero Sticks, evening and cheers. Hero Sticks, great to have you here, man. As always, Chris Corliss, nice to see you here, Chris. Hey there, everyone. Glad to be here for another live. Done with classes for the year and have reclaimed my Thursday nights. Congratulations, Chris. That's awesome. Your hard work has paid off, sir. You can now rest a little bit easier, and you are no doubt stronger in mind, if not body. So welcome back, sir. I'm glad you're out of classes. Anthony, man, I also love the Condor Hudson Bay. A few guys have asked what anyone would need a knife. Wait. A few guys have asked what anyone would need a knife like that for. It's because it's undeniably cool. Okay, so I have the Condor Hudson Bay. It's undeniably cool, and it's undeniably useful. We used to have a hedgerow out back, and I took the whole thing down, and it was a lot of really nasty, rooty, thick stems, maybe about 20 of them. And I took the whole thing down and even got most of the roots out with that knife. And I got chipped, so a little bit of chips and stuff like that. But that thing was so awesome. And the whole time I'm like a mountain man. I'm like a pioneer using my one knife to do this whole thing. And it's a Hudson. It really did a great job. After I put a really great edge on it. So you could justify it in many ways. I love the whole concept of that. It's a trapper knife or like a trade knife. And it was, mine's over there. It was just sort of universal for everything, sort of like people's Bowies down south of where people were carrying those. So I love it. Will be my favorite of 2023 are my TKL Sapper. I didn't know you got a Sapper. I love that knife. And my Microtech Amphibian Ramlock. I want that knife too. Just so filled with materialist desire, but only for really this thing. Pretty much. I mean, I like other things too, but at least it's not expensive. You know, I tell my wife, at least I don't collect cars, right? That's way more expensive. Or even guns. You know, I don't collect them. I'm like the guy that who's got like 5 or 6 knives, and he's like, yeah, 5 or 6 knives. I have all the bases covered. That's all I need. That's me. Burnt toast. If you get the chance, I highly recommend you take a look at the Kubi Wolf CQC. Under $50, and it seems like something you would absolutely love. Is this a fixed blade? Is this a small, nasty little fixed blade? I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Ketmuk says favorites for 2023: Locking Gunslinger Jack. No doubt about that. That is a good one. Lake Champlain Barlow. Oh yes, fixed blade tops Woodcraft. That one I'm unfamiliar with. The Woodcraft. But I love hearing that, and so I think I want to tell you about what I was carrying today. But just a second, let me get to Will B. I won the Sapper in a giveaway on TKL's Patreon. How cool! How cool! You're also a patron. That's also extra cool of TKL. I know he gets a lot of ideas in his in that forum. Ginger Fisher 75. Nice to see you here, sir. Kirby, yeah, no doubt. His everything. He's one of those designers like this guy, Charles Marlowe. Everything he's ever designed that I've ever seen is just blindingly beautiful to me. I love this thing. Byron Kennedy says my 2 favorites of 2023, the Lake Champlain Barlow in saw cut tie and the Knife Junkie Hogtooth Nova 1. Yes, Byron, thank you. That is so cool. Just in case anyone's wondering what that is, here's the prototype. I have I don't have a production model here, quote unquote, but this is the Nova 1, and a couple of people in this live tonight have these, and yeah, designed by me, at least blade designed by me, and the rest designed and made by the great and powerful Matt Chase of Hogtooth Knives. Here, let me put. So no, on the production model, there wasn't my giant logo on the side. That was for the prototype. A couple of other little differences right around the sharpening choil, and also different color and width on the liners and the jimpings further up. But thank you very much. I'm honored to be on that list, sir. Wow, cool. Chris Corliss says, I acquired quite a few knives this year, but I think the only one that was a truly new release was the Microtech Amphibian. I handled one at California Custom Knife Show and had to have one. All right, I got to find out about the Amphibian. Is this something I can just go buy? I from its exotic looks and from kind of not really engaging too much with Microtech, I sort of assumed it was a special run, but is this something I can just go out and get? Because I love it. It reminds me of the Commander, one of my favorite knives, by Emerson, with that beautiful recurve. I love recurve blades, and I've heard such great things about the Ramlock. It looks fidgety too. Chicken fried steak. You're making me hungry. Good to have you here, sir. Assuming, presumably, evening, everyone. How's Thangs? Thangs is good. Was that an SD, a little Microtech? I mean, not Microtech, a little Victorinox Classic SD. I'm looking at lots of these. Lots of slip joints, even Swiss Army knives lately. They're turning my head. Pedro Armstrong, howdy, he says. Well, howdy to you, sir. Nice to have you. Ketmuk says, my one that got away was the Finch Runtley XL. There's still some available, so maybe I can remedy that situation in early 2024. They're over there at traditionalcustomknives.com. I know. Favorite knives of the year are Benchmade 185 BK-1. Oh, SOCP. That's that dagger, right? The big dagger. That's sort of, or bayonet ground double edge sweet dagger like knife. Couple of mixed strider customs. Oof, cobalt. And Steve Ryan custom I managed to grab this year. Which one? Which ones from I'd love to find out that. Love the Kaiser Huntsman for 2023. Yeah, that's it's audacious. I love the I kind of like it. I'm not sure I like the blade with the handle, but I kind of like it all. Kep McNussart says the Nova one is great for field dressing a whitetail. Oh my gosh, that warms the cockles of my heart because I've never done anything like that with my Nova one. So, man, that's great to hear. That is awesome to hear. Will B says I would add my Nova one and my Wee Ziphius to my list of favorites this year. Excellent. Excellent. Two beautiful choices, if you don't mind my saying. I do love the Ziphius. Daniel Huff, good evening, Knife Junkies. Daniel, good evening. It's great to have you here. Let me just hey, Shane, how you doing, Edgy American? Long time no see. I've missed you guys. I hope all is well. All is well here. I saw your recent posts where you were calling out Monster Racer again, and he's back. And thank you for doing yeoman's work on keeping us keeping things legit. I think we all appreciate it. Mini GMAC 1, thanks for all you do. Thank you. I think you're probably talking to Shane though. Let me catch everyone up on this though. Randomly at 11. We'll do this at 11 Eastern. So halfway through the show, we're going to give this away. This is the new Off-Grid Knives rapid fire with the Stinger blade. And this is the large Stinger blade because we all know this is the new Stinger EDC, which has more of a drop point, less of a dagger blade, and it is a full flat ground blade. So just being a nerd about it, but let's be precise. So this thing is awesome. I love it. It's big, heavy. I shouldn't say big and heavy. It's not. It's like a hard use knife. It's nicely contoured to fit the hand. If you look at it this way, it feels, you know what it feels like? It feels in hand like a 300 series zero tolerance. That's what it feels like. It's got that same sort of girth and feel. It's very nice. But the thing that's funny about this is when you close it one-handed with your thumb, that swedge is so thin that it is a hell of a piercer. And it's actually when you close it, it feels better to have your thumb on the jimping because it's so nice and thin here. And you want that on a knife like this. This is broad, so it slices really well. Even though it's just halfway ground or saber ground like this, it slices really well, but it punctures great too, even though it's a broad blade. And it's because that swedge is so extreme swedge. So great knife. And I want to give this away at 11. This was given to the channel by Off-Grid Knives to give away to you guys. So thank you, Carrie, for sending that along. I can't wait to give that away tonight. That being said, now it is time to get to a pocket check. Okay, this one was given to me in a box by Dave, or I should say sent to me in a box by Dave, This Old Sword Blade Reviews. He sent 4 Civivis and a petrified fish. And we're going to, which if you don't know what any of that means, just sounds hilarious. But we're going to, I carried this today and I'm going to adopt something out of this box. And it might be this. This is a sweet beauty. This is the Picaro by Civivi. And it's got a nice thin hollow ground blade. And also it has that really cool profile. And then an extremely unique opening in the blade with a floating thumb stud. Just very cool. Just a great looking knife. Also big. That's a 4-inch blade. This is this is just under 4 inches, I think. Oh, no. This one is 4 inches. This is one that I measured when they came in. But yeah, so this is a big one. you can thrust with this, no doubt, slice with it with that thin slicey blade. So to me, this is kind of tactical because it's big, and it would stand up to some abuse. It's got a nice sort of thick and engaging liner lock there, not fully 100%, but just where you want it. And it's a washer knife to the best. Yeah, it's a washer knife, and it feels like it, and I like the feel. So yeah, this Picaro, very, very cool. And this is now out of print or discontinued. And so it's a good one, and it is very, very nice looking too. So I had that in my front right pocket. Thank you, Dave. And then I had the slip joint, which I was carrying today, was in this little thing that I keep in my front pocket. It's got the Olight right here. I like this thing. What is this? I always forget the i3T with the little clip, the hat clip. I like that. Got my Fisher Space pen here, and then I had my Little Bro by Jack Wolf Knives with the beautiful Deep Space Kieranite. That's what I call it. I can't remember. It's like blue. Oh, it's Crystal Lake Kieranite. But to me, it looks like space, like you're in outer space. Just a beautiful knife. I love a boy's knife. I love this is, kind of between the 15 and 14 by GEC, but it's got that same sort of sleeve board pattern with double bolsters. And this material is just gorgeous. And even though it's really slick and smooth, you get a certain kind of surface tension with it in your hand. It's not slippery. Uh, maybe with some slick, material like oil or something. But to me, it's just feels great in hand, and it's just a great little knife. This was last month's release from Jack Wolf Knives. This month's release from Jack Wolf Knives is in this list, but I'll show it in a second. But on the waistband today, or on my belt, riding horizontally under my sweater, was this here, the TKL Knives Nighthawk. I always say Nighthawk, Night Stalker. You know that here's just a little bit of personal history. The movie Nighthawks with Billy D. Williams and Sylvester Stallone was the first time I ever heard the word MFer, and I was blown away. And it was a very violent and scary scene. Not scary, but violent and intense scene too, at the beginning of the movie. So anyway, great movie and informative in terms of language. TKL Night Stalker. This one is in AEBL. I'm not sure if he has continued with AEBL, but this was the first batch of that. Before it was 80 CRV he was using, but he has that nickel. Wait, no, that what is it? The cobalt, dendritic cobalt. No. What the hell is it? What is it? Someone tell me what is the coating on these blades here? It's slipping my mind. Dave, let me know. Not tungsten. It's something that he puts on here that they use in the gun industry that makes a blade real. Well, it protects and coats, but it also makes it kind of slippery, which is kind of nice. Someone will let me know, why am I blocking this out? Why? Because you're 52. Nickel boron. Thank you so much, Bro Jack Horsemail. That's a great name too. Nickel boron. Yes, sir. All of my tactical knives have to have nickel boron. All of my dueling blades. No, I'm just kidding. But I love the way it looks anyway, and you can actually feel it. Feels kind of cool to the touch. These are amazing. If these, you have to kind of wait for drops, but or sign up for them, pre-order them. This is his most popular model, and he's got a couple of different thicknesses of blade steel and stuff, but I so highly recommend this fixed blade knife. It is so easy to carry, and with these little sheaths he makes that just disappear on the belt. I have a discreet carry concepts here that he sells. So great. Love this knife. Never get tired of carrying that knife. Okay, and then last up, for emotional support, because I can't be away from this knife, is the new release Jack Wolf Knives After Hours Jack. Mine in smooth black titanium. Such a cool choice for after hours Jack. I love them all, though. They're all beautiful, especially the Kieranite. That's another good looking one. It's got a black blade, black bolsters, and then a smoky, swirly green Kieranite. Very nice looking. They're all so cool. And Ben, who I know he was on Patty's show tonight, has just done such a great job coming up with different combinations for his different knives. But this is definitely one of my knives of the year for sure. This is definitely one of the greatest Jack Wolf knives and one of the best knives I've gotten this year. I absolutely love this. I have a feeling this one will go fast. I really do, because it's that profile everyone loves. Everyone absolutely loved where is it? I don't have it here. The Midnight Jack, which looked like this, but just a little bit shorter, just a little bit smaller, but had that incredible sheep's foot blade with the swedge. To me, it looks like an Art Deco locomotive steaming into the future. So cool. But it also cuts like a maniac with that downward angled edge and that beautiful tip below the center line, and a very comfortable full 4-finger grip handle with great action. Especially the way I like to do it is with my right hand, with my right hand Spidey flick. I can't do it with my left hand for some reason on this knife. But anyway, I think I put too much pressure on that lock bar. And then you can also front flip it, do that way, or however you like to front flip. And it's very nicely jimped. And you got that little tab extension there. You just kind of grab it with your thumb. And yeah, back, I've been carrying this in my back left pocket next to my bandana. It disappears in the pocket, and it's light and it's thin. Excuse me. And it's so capable. What a great knife. So that's what I had on me. What'd you guys have on me? 2 from Jack Wolf Knives. That's unusual for me too. That's actually, frankly, breaking a rule. But I've been not wanting to part with this, and I've been loving slip joints, and I wanted to carry this today. So damn it, I can do it. They're my rules for me. So let me know what you were carrying. If you haven't already, carrying. I didn't mean carrying. I meant carrying. Let me know, and I'd love to find out. Oh yeah, I also have a ZT on me. Pete Davidson, nice to have you here, Pete. How's it going, junkies? My new knife. Sorry, let me start over. No new knives this year, but I've been playing catch up and bought a few of the ones that got away recently. That's cool. Well, let us know what they are. I am broadening this out just from, my choices are from this year, but yours don't have to be. Let me know what you got this year that you really liked, because sometimes I get out of the habit of getting new knives. Craig Vincent says, sorry, Few was driving home when the stream started, so I had to lurk till I parked. Bob, I'm so new to knives. My favorite tends to be the one that is currently in my hand. In 1 year, I bought around 300. Craig Vincent, I am both proud and shocked and astonished. Craig, what's your favorite of 300, or what do you have in your hand right now of knives? Burnt Toast says, love the handle shape on that Stinger. Yes, it is. Yeah, this thing is it's a great handle shape. This is one rare case where a sort of mid partition doesn't bother me, and it's because it steps up a little bit. Kind of like the ZT, and also with that elongated hexagonal golf ball pocketing, or whatever you want to call it. It really fills the hand nicely. Will be. I managed to get that amphibian in aluminum from E-Knives last week. They were in stock for over a day. Oh, okay. All right. It's that kind of knife. Okay. They were in stock for over a day. Okay. Yeah, I need like several weeks to be able to pick something up. Inner City Pigeon. Nice to have you here, Inner City Pigeon. I was always defending you when people would go and try and kick you. I always thought that was like, just showed a real callousness. So We're not all sons of bitches, inner city pigeon. Anyway, anybody can get to snag a mini speed goat in Magna Cut. Okay. Anybody get to snag a mini speed goat in Magna Cut tonight? Ooh, someone let me know, or let any inner city pigeon know, and let me know what a speed goat is. That sounds cool, and it just lets me know again, man. What you know, I'm so glad to have you all in my life because I need mavens to let me know what's new. I am not a maven, but I've always relied on them for everything, so I appreciate it. Hero Sticks. Most of my collecting in 2023 was vicarious. Had to prioritize trawler gear to get the boat up to snuff. Very nice. Lots that got away. My wish list and knife bookmarks abound in 2024. Must have goodness. Well, Hero, I happen to know you have a pretty killer collection. You've let me sample some of them, and I greatly appreciate it. So at least you got some stuff to go back to, which is nice. You don't always need new stuff. That's the cool stuff. That's the cool part about having a collection. When you go back to things that you haven't paid attention to in a while, it feels like it's new again. Will B says Grimsmo. Okay, this is what he was carrying. Oh God. Grimsmo Norseman, Hinderer XM24 Battlefield pickup, Sponto, full textured tie. That's awesome. Microtech Amphibian. Speak of the devil. Spyderco Manix 2 XL. Great knife. That's one that I gave away that I was kind of regretted. Spyderco PM2 Tonto with the advanced weapons technology scales. Sorry for this. The axial shift, Spyderco Ronin 2, Riot Exo, and the Olight Warrior Nano. Very nice carry, man. I'm especially loving the Microtech Amphibian, but also the Battlefield pickup. So cool. I love a Sponto blade and the full textured tie. That is sweet. Today carried the Kaiser Doberman SE Azula also. That Doberman is very cool. Is that designed by Ray Laconico? I really like the look of that thing. It reminds me a little bit of a Bastinelli knife, of an older Bastinelli knife. And I'm not sure what it's called. Northern Knives. Today's carry is a Microtech MSI Shadow 210-2. The Ademco 80 20.5, a Lynch Northwest all access pass 1.5 pry bar, and tactile turn side click pen in zirconium. All right, let me ask you this about the pry bar. I have a cool one that JB Stout sent me, and it's cool, and I love it, and it has his sort of milling aesthetic and all that. And I carry it in my bag. It's always there, but I have never really legitimately needed or used it. What do you have your pry bar for? Is it for, I know you probably do a lot of shipping that for which that might come in handy. But I'm just curious, people who carry pry bars, do you use them and what for? Also the knips, or what are those things called? The little pliers you see in people's EDC pictures. Who's carrying those? What do you do with them? Are you a tradesman, plumber or something? I'm just curious. They look nice, but I'm always joking about like how there's no wrench community, like there's a knife community, but it looks like there's a freaking pliers community, and that kind of baffles me. So just let me know. And you might say, Bob, if you were handy, you would know. I'm sort of handy. I can get around, but I have no use for one of those, and I'm just curious. Anyway, Byron Kennedy says today's carry: the Nova 1, the Max Ace Goliath, the off-grid all-day Necker, and the RC the Rosecraft Appalachian Jack. Very nice. Ooh, I want the orange handled one with I think it's the Appalachian Jack. I want to get that. Blade Ogre says carrying the Sniper Blade Works LPC, the Jake B creates Tickler. I really like his stuff. The Tactile Maverick, the Smith and Sons Ox. Smith and Sons ox. Is that a sodbuster? The Queen Jumbo Trapper. Nice. The Case Clasp. Oh, that is a beauty. The GEC Hunter Fixie. The HHA MILF. Oh, yeah, the Hardcore Hardware MILF. And the LT Wright Knives Genesis, French Broad, and Sleazy Ogre. Whew. French Broad. That's this. The French Broad Jack, named after a river called the French Broad River, presumably. Beautiful thing by Rosecraft with those beautiful red, candy apple red handles. This old sword, been toting the 18-inch Cones Craft neck biter sacks around since yesterday. How cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that the one? 18-inch. That's the big one. Yeah. But when resting from that, nice. I've had the Civivi Propagnator with Ultim handles and the Concept K Max ROM. Calibri Tech. I love K Max ROM stuff. But the Propagnator, I was making fun of the name. Propagnator is a victor, right? Or a leader or a vanquisher or something like that. Burnt Toast says today's carry was the GEC 54, very nice, and Copper Creek Custom Fixie in Balbach Boomerang Damascus and a Riot Epoch. Let's see. Very nice. Okay, Fixie, a fixed blade knife, a modern folder, and a slip joint. That is my preferred carry. Very nice. Hero Stick says today's carry was the Birch Tree Blades Secant. I have hefted that very secant and did a video here of that beautiful knife. The Brian Brown Chunk with brown micarta. Very nice. I like Brian Brown's work too. Pete Davidson, in Australia, it seems like unless you have the money and don't mind long postage times, you don't mind the risk of your knife being confiscated, it's nearly impossible to keep up to date. Yeah, I've heard that. That makes me sad, but it makes me hopeful that there are people like you who are fed up with that and don't like that, and maybe things change in your country, which was once proudly, freedom loving and independent. It has kind of gone through some things that some of the rest of us, like Canada, and it's trickling into here too. But hopefully your knife rights, hopefully you guys, maybe it could be you, get a Doug Ritter of sorts and start trying to change some of the laws that are a little old-fashioned. Loyal Group says, evening, gents. As usual, I'm late to the party. What did I miss? Loyal Group, I'll tell you what you missed. In 17 minutes, we're going to be giving away this Stinger version of the Rapid Fire. Very cool knife by Off Grid Knives. I always have to look and make sure it's not Rapid Strike. That's the tops that I like. So very, very cool. That's D2 and a dagger ground blade, and seriously, almost a dagger. You could, if you were stupid, you could, or if you turned this into a fixed blade, you could sharpen that top. The swedge is so thin. So this thing, even though it's broad and a great slicer, is a great puncturer due to the diamond, the very, very super diamond like geometry at the tip. So very cool. That's what you missed, sir. So hashtag knife is all you got to do. It's all you got to do. Hashtag knife in the comments. That's it. Hashtag knife. Today, the Wee Thug XL. Nice. And the GEC 39. Not sure what the 39 is. I love the Wee Thug and the Thug XL. It'd be cool if they did an XXL and made a 4-inch blade. The Thug is screaming for that treatment. What a beautiful knife. And what great ergonomics on the Thug. That's a Christensen design, right? Craig Vincent says, it's kind of crazy. The one that got away is whichever one I want next. I do have my eyes set on an XL Espada in S35VN, which got interrupted due to overcoming the mayhem. Discovering the mayhem. Got the mayhem. Espada next. So how do you like the mayhem? How do you like that? It's a swashbuckler, that's for sure. I recently got this one that I really regretted not getting the first time around. And this is in, what is this? S35VN, the Talwar. And of course, I had to get it serrated. I love A lot of their designs with serrations, they might not be as pleasing to the eye or as pleasing to the cut if you're doing certain kind of things. But if you're getting these big giant knives as weapons, which is a totally legitimate use for these, I think that the serrations are ideal. And if you ask someone like Lynn Thompson, he'll say they're ideal even if you're using them in the jungle because they'll last longer if you have no way to sharpen. So for me, I prefer if I'm cutting regular stuff, just a plain edge blade. But for something like this, especially with the upswept blade and the big belly, I want to grab on as much as possible, especially as my arcing motion is shying away from that curve on that blade. I want to grab as much with those 5 small peaks and the 1 large scoop. Deadly. So nicely done with the mayhem. Yes, I would say definitely get the Espada XL. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I have 2. You know how some people get duplicates? Well, that's the kind of knife I get duplicates of. Ket McNessart says, today I carried the Finch McCoy, the Jack Wolf Knives Pioneer Jack, and the Malone Knives Backlander. I think I know what that is. Fixie. I like this too. This is perfect carry. The Finch McCoy, the Jack Wolf Knives Pioneer Jack, and and all very sturdy, kind of outdoorsy. But the Finch still has a class of not a class, a touch of urban, touch of city, touch of modernity, I guess. You're like, whatever. Inner City Pigeon says, Bark River Knives, Little Creek 2 in Magnacut with a Kydex pocket sheath. Love that. Love the setup. Northwoods Fremont Jack in Griffin Bone. Okay, we only have 34 entries for the knife giveaway. I just think we should have at least 60 because this is a great knife. You can put it in your car. Not only that, but put it in your car. In other words, if you don't like bigger knives in your pocket, you can put it in your bag. It's a great place. And oh man, this thing is awesome. Off-grid Stinger bladed rapid fire. I keep the rapid fire rescue model in my car. It's different in that it has an orange handle, it has a glass breaker, and it has a serrated or half serrated Wharncliffe blade. And I say Wharncliffe, but it's really much more of a rounded sheep's foot. It's more like a sheep's hoof or something. I don't know. Hoof. It's a hoof. What's that? What's that? What is this? What movie is this from? It's a hoof. Hoof. What's that from? Cobalt says Steve Ryan Tusk fixed blade and yet another Rhino fixed blade. Nice. Got other 2. Today's carry Dwayne Dwyer. Oh man, BBN-L Pike. Okay, I know what that is. And a Fiore Bayonet Ballast song. Dude, you've got a nice collection, man. Steve Ryan, I had him on the show. We had a nice conversation, and his stuff I think it's so cool. And I feel like I knew about him early on, like maybe in the late 90s or early 2000s. And then I didn't see him for a long time. And then he popped up on Instagram for me and started following him a couple of years back. And his stuff is so awesome. It's so unapologetically tactical, not tactical art. Very cool. I would amend that, but I won't belabor the point. Loyal Group says, apparently I scored a Tidiu Cutlery beer cub in the last couple of days. Very nice. The beer cub. Wait. Can you go back to that for a second, Jim? Is the beer cub, what is that, a 14 also? Is that a smaller frame, like Wharncliffe, but with a bottle opener? I have one of those, except it's a 15, and I'm wondering if this is the smaller version. Christopher Dilzer, nice to have you here, sir. Victorinox fruit knife and a Leatherman Surge has been my EDC all year. I love that Victorinox fruit knife. That warms the cockles of my heart, Christopher. And what bums me out is that my favorite one, the one that I keep in my car, that has a little Velcro on the back that sticks to the furry part of my seat. It's like an emergency knife. I can't find it, and it's driving me nuts. And I'm worried that it's in some other scumbag's hand. Oh, I just said other, meaning that I'm a scumbag. No, I'm just worried it's in someone else's hands. The wrong person. Jason Velasquez, nice to have you here, sir. Or is it Velasquez? Well, Jason, nice to have you here, sir. Got the Gail Bradley 2 Blade HQ exclusive. Very nice. The Pena X Trapper. I've never had a Pena knife. I'd love to. ProTech ATCF. Oh, and Tuxedo. Very nice. Hinderer 3.5, presumably XM, but it could be an Eclipse. And a PM2 Murdered Out. My God. So let's see. Two Spydercos and a Pena and a ProTech. Very nice. Oh, and a Hinderer. Man, nice carry, sir. Hero Stick says, one of the primary ones that got away from me was the Kaiser Mystic, chasing it on the secondary. It will be mine. Okay, you're the second person to say that tonight. And I'm like, you can go get this. I didn't know that. Okay, I just got this when you could. Oh, that's right. I got this on the second drop of this. I forgot that I had a hard time getting this. Ah, yes. This is the one that got away, and you will be happy when you get it. And Kaisers, they're no dummies. They'll do another one. I'm sure. I mean, I don't have any knowledge of that, but they'd be stupid not to, and they don't seem to be stupid. What a great knife this is. This is on my list of this is the one I pulled out for. Okay, I'll show off my favorite, and then I pulled out some others. But for folders, this is probably the one that I've carried the longest and most consistently, even having gotten other knives afterward. That Rex 45 is great. I forced a patina on it early on and did not like it and polished it out mostly. And so it's starting to patina kind of on its own. Very nice bolster lock. I love the tight weave of the linen micarta. Shows a little bit of my patina there. And then you've got the pivot collar. Sweet knife. Best of luck to you, Hero Sticks. I hope you score one because they are choice. Craig Vincent, it was primarily a cold steel day. I like those days. 8010, American Lawman, Broken Skull, large Voyager clip point, Holdout XL, and PM2 and Kubi Koias. That sounds pretty awesome. I mean, I totally sanction that. Excuse me. My goodness. All right. I want to show you something here. Brojack Horsemail says 8020S and a Watson Kaidan today. I got to say, I don't know what that is. Wait, is that Watson like a fixed blade Watson? Let me know. Jay Sheehan, nice to see you here, Jay. Breaking out Compulon in the back and show us something really badass. I don't know. That's not a Compulon, but it is badass. This is a Chris. I'm wondering if you're talking about this one. I don't have a Compulon. I would love to get one. This one is pretty sweet. It has a sort of ceremonial handle, and I have begun to question the provenance of this. I mean, it's definitely from the Philippines, and it's definitely legit, but I'm starting to wonder if it's more ceremonial, just due to the blade and then the handle, the contrast between the blade and the handle. Todd Carr, evening, everyone. Evening, Todd. Nice to have you here, sir. Here, you want to see something pretty cool if you're into the Filipino stuff. It's sort of rudimentary, but it's totally badass. Nomadic Adventures, nice to see you here, sir. Always a pleasure to have you with us. This is something my dad bought when he was in the Philippines, and he was with some special Marines down there, the Filipino Marines, and one guy made bolos and put a whole bunch out on a carpet. And my dad's like, oh, I got to get one for Bob. And he got me this one. And it's totally badass. And Oh, just got the Jimmy Slasher chopper. That is a sweet, or Jimmy Slash chopper. That is a sweet knife. This thing has very, like, it's unfinished wood scabbard, very nicely done, but and like nicely finished, but rough, and it's got this rope, which is cool. And then check out this handle. I mean, this blade made from a spring. It is sharp as hell and rough. And it's got this buffalo horn and a tang that was a little short, so it's got all these imperfections, but it feels awesome in hand. And then if you do, I like to practice with this, do Carenza with it. It's basically shadow boxing with a blade. And this thing is really sweet and moves great. And it's small. It's big enough to be a big knife, but small enough to move around in the jungle and in a fight without hitting into, vegetation and stuff that might block your move. So just a sweet, sweet knife. You talk about, this is legit. I mean, these are all legit, but this is a newer one, a newer version, and less ornate. Just about action. Daniel Huff says, today I carried the custom Damascus Skinner on my side. Very nice. And a well-used Spyderco Endura in K390. I love the way K390 patina's up. So one of the other knives that Dave sent over here was the Backlash, a classic Civivi, one of the first 3 Civivis. And it's still kicking and still awesome, like the Praxis. Pete Davidson says, got a set of K390 Spydercos, Police, Endura, and Delica. Very nice. And a G Sakai Silver Knight with black pearl handles. Don't know what that is, but the handle sounds beautiful. 01 Trailmaster, very nice. And a bunch of other EDC odds and ends in various materials. Very nice. I love the Trailmaster, of course. Definitely endorse carrying a 10-inch Bowie every day. This is hollow ground, nice clip point with that finger swale. These are like $40. Really, really great flipper. The action on this is really awesome. It's a pocket pecker, as Shabazz would say. And yeah, it does look like a bird. But if you don't carry anything else that you're worried about in your pocket, I don't know. That never bothered me. And it is the size and the height and where it is compared to the pivot that makes this thing just so impressive. It just rockets out. But this is the Civivi Backlash with ebony wood. So I'm loving these wood handles. Man, and nicely milled on the chamfers here with the micro milling, and a beautiful blade. 9CR 18 MOV, deeply hollow ground, finger choil that is works great. I guess it works great. I don't know. Finger choil sometimes, but it's perfectly matched with the thumb, with that thumb swale, so it works, or that thumb ramp. And just great action, great ergonomics. Highly recommend that knife. If you have $40 burning a hole in your pocket, you want a great knife like that, you like those characteristics, I would get that. But let me show you the other 2 wood knives I have from the Civivi and Sencut. Craig Vincent says, cargo pants, pocket knives, match made in heaven. No doubt. That's a lot of pocket knives. You can just line the rim of your pocket with them. Here is the Praxis in this beautiful wood. What are they called? This is the Guraburtia wood. Juburtia wood? Juburtia? How do you pronounce that? Juburtia. Someone let me know in phonetic, please. But this thing is, I love the Praxis. I'm a huge fan of this design. When this first came out, when these 2 first came out, they were making them with these cheesy gold liners or bright blue liners, and I loved both designs, but I didn't like the materials and how they handled it. And they got wind pretty quickly that no one liked it that much, and so they changed things pretty early on. But this design, both of these designs have endured, and man, They have a lot of different materials, handles you can get, but these wood ones, they just take the cake. So Jaborsha, and this is ebony, very nice. You can feel the density of this. Pretty nice. I didn't say lignum vitae, but that would be pretty cool. Okay, and then last up, I just got this. This is also that kind of wood. This is the Sencut Fantera, and this was a my friend Jaime from down my block here gave this to me. He is a new fan of Sencut and Civivi, and so has been checking some out. Oh, I got a little crack in mine right here by the screw, which is, somewhat common with wood and other natural materials. So I've heard that you can just write them and they'll send you a new scale. Someone wrote that here last week. So I just have yet to do that, but I need to do that. Also, a great knife and nice and big, man. This reminds me of the Manix 2XL size wise. It's a biggie. But look at that. Look at those 3 awesome wood handled knives. And yeah, 2 of them, given to me by friends. So very, very appreciated. So thank you, Dave, and thank you, Jaime, for these awesome wood-handled knives. Love me some wood. I'm gonna keep going for it. I'm gonna keep getting them. Keep getting wood-handled knives. Okay. Oh yeah, it's time. All right, let's do this. Anyone else? Okay, let's see. Can't really hear you when you turn away from the mic. Yeah, I know. Sorry, Jim. He's talking about when I got up and I was blabbing, getting that thing. Okay, so let's talk that thing, that sword. Let's give away this knife. I've been talking about it enough, and someone needs to take this. I'm not sure how many have been in there, but hey, Greg, how you doing? Greg Maroney, what's up, y'all? He says we're gonna find out how many people have put hashtag knife in the comment to win this knife. That's all you got to do. And then we just run it through the automatic number generator, and then we get to give it to whoever wins. Jason Velasquez says Prybar and Knipex is for pallets and multiple uses. Okay. Yeah. I feel like if I had a different job, they could come in handy. I carried a sharpened pry bar. It's called an SR1 Light Tonto. Very nice. Love it. All right, let's give this away here. Todd Carr says, just a giant mouse ace jogged in Magna Cut for me. Okay, nice. All right, let's give this away. It is the Rapid Fire from Off Grid Knives with the Stinger blade. And that Stinger blade is the symmetrical dagger ground blade. So happy to give this away. It kicks like a mule, people. It kicks like a mule. All right, let's do this in 3, 2, 1. All right. Who's it going to go to? Who is it going to go to? Oh, Fernando Selame. All right, man. This is yours. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Fernando, happy to be sending this out to you. Please let me know your address. You can email it to TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com. Do that, and it will. I will send this to you. Hopefully tomorrow. I do have to go to the post office. I think I have to go to the post office tomorrow. So this could be in the mail tomorrow for you. So thank you, sir. Do make sure that you send me your address. Look at that. That is cool. Why am I giving this up? I should just keep this. I've been playing with it all night. I like it so much. I'm just kidding you, Fernando. I can't keep all of the knives. I would love to have all of them. Yeah, that's like with the Cold Steel catalog, for instance. I'd rather have them all and then choose the ones that I don't want than have to buy them. Pete Davidson says, carried my tarted up K390 Police. I love that. Cold Steel Desperado. Pete Davidson, that's one of my got away knives from ages ago. I love the Desperado. You're talking my language. If no one remembers what the Desperado is, it's a inch vaquero, serrated vaquero with an egg-shaped craton handle that buries completely in your hand. That would be very hard to disarm in a fight. I mean, most knives are hard to disarm in a fight, but this would be really hard. And I always wanted one of those so badly, and I can't believe I never got it. I could have gone a little bit more into debt to get one. It's not like I wasn't in debt in my 20s and 30s, more debt than I am in now. Or I should say, wasn't like I wasn't in irresponsible debt. Of course I'm in debt. I'm a modern person, but this is not irresponsible debt. It's house payments and that kind of thing. But there was a time when I racked up some irresponsible debt, and I could have made the Desperado as part of that. I finally paid all that stuff off before I got married, but I still would have that Desperado had I not done that. Dagnabbit. Okay. Where was I? Let's see. Tarted up K390, Police, Cold Steel Desperado, Victorinox Compact with micarta. That sounds cool. The Timascus i3T Olight. I love the i3T. And the Titanium Big Eye Pen. Wait. Okay. I was talking about Victorinox, the Pioneer X. I got to say, I love this thing. I got it a while ago, didn't use it much, and now I've been using it and carrying it more. I really dig this knife. I got it because I had to have it for some reason, and then I was really turned off that it didn't have the scale tools. I knew it wouldn't have the toothpick or the tweezers, and for some reason, I don't know, I just kind of relegated it to the drawer. But I've been really, really liking it. It's basically like an old school camp knife with your punch and your main spear blade and your can opener. I'm sorry, your bottle opener and screwdriver, wire stripper, and your can opener. It's like a traditional camp knife, boy's knife, or camp scout knife. But this one has the scissors. That's why it's the Pioneer X. So this thing is awesome. And I love the scissors that Victorinox makes. So I don't know. I just decided to start carrying this more. And I've been liking it. That punch is awesome, by the way. I think it's the best punch besides the old Camillus on the camp knife that my grandpa gave me when I was a kid. Okay. Honey Bear, nice to see you, Honey Bear 85. Pry bars are for things you hesitate to use your knives for. Staples, paint can lids, yes. I always end up using a screwdriver, even though I have all sorts of paint tools. Really anything that makes me think I don't want to snap the tip or destroy my edge. Perfect point. Do you carry it in your pocket? I could see if you have certain kind of job, you might carry it right on your person. Like me, I carry mine in my bag. That's always close by. I don't need it right on my person because I never have a use for it. But just curious. And there are so many different, designs, shapes, and sizes of them. They're a whole category in and of themselves. Northern knives. It's like people who don't carry a pocket knife and start to. You don't realize how much you need it till you carry one. In the workshop, I use it for all the things that would void a knife's warranty. That's very, very interesting. That's another valid point. Pete Davidson, I used my Knipex last week to tighten a loose bolt on my bike. Okay. 2 strokes and rough country road equals loose bolts on the regular. Okay. So a real legit use for the pliers. Now, Knipex, I'm assuming that they are German, and I do know that you pronounce the K, so that's what makes me think that they're German. But are these? I gotta say, not being much of a plier aficionado, they look pretty. They're nice looking pliers, and they have cool angles to them. Are these specialized? Are they extra something? And then I'll drop the Knipex. Honey Bear 85 says, speaking of top pickups of 23 are my K390 Lamia. Woo-wee. That's by Steingraber Performance Knives. I love that knife. And Nice Guy Machine Company FAFO side piece pry. I don't know that one. Both pick up at my first knife show, Makers Syndicate in Indiana. Very cool. Oh, so it's a pry bar. Okay, side piece. That's pretty good. Nathan Esquivel, nice to have you here, sir. Today's carry was my Cold Steel 8010 Tonto. I want that too. God damn, everything, excuse my French, everything everyone's mentioning. I'm like, I want that. I want that. But legitimately, I love the way that Tonto blade looks on that 8010 handle. Cold Steel SR, and I bet it would be extremely useful. Cold Steel SRK, Leatherman Free P2, Through Night Archer Mini, and the Kershaw Culpeper with copper scales. Now that's a nice knife. I have the Culpeper just with the plain G10, and this is a great knife. But I've seen the one with the copper. Someone just did a video of that. Maybe it was Patty, or it was a pass around knife, and love it, love it. But I'm happy with this G10 one that I never carry. I don't really need the copper one, but Kershaw making great slip joints. Five Door says, pry bar. I carry one at some point most days due to no knives in many places I work. I have used to cut, fidget, and potential self-defense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I like the potential self-defense thing. And plus, if you get a pry bar that's a little bit longer, that protrudes from beneath your hand like that, you could use that for something. Pete Davidson says, also my pry bar contains Torx bits and a driver to tighten a loose pivot or pocket clip. Oh, that's cool. I could see that coming in handy. If it had like a T6 and a T8. Nomadic Adventures says, all about labels for customs. Wait, what? All about labels for customs. Kitchen utility tool, much easier to get by. I see what you're saying. Pete Davidson says, also, my pry bar contains torch. As long as the thugs keep stabbing each other, knife rights in Australia are stuffed. That sucks. Maybe, just maybe, if they had guns, they would be shooting each other and the knife problem wouldn't exist. Follow me for more political advice. Pat D's nuts. Made it. Did I win? You did not, sir. Carries to, but try again. We have many more knives to give away, and we have an especially sweet one if you want this next week. You got to be a gentleman junkie. But man, what a beautiful knife this is. Thank you, Northern Knives. Pat D's Nuts says, Carrie was the Asher Fixie. Very nice. And my new Hinderer Spear Point S45. We talked about this last week. I do like the spear point. Stonewashed bronze blue black G10 hashtag knife. Sorry, sir. Greg Vincent, love the Mayhem. Tulwar is also on my list. All right. I'm going to have to get that Mayhem. I did heft it, the S35 VN version with the black and red G10 at Blade Show. And oh my God. It is so fidgety. That knife is actually a good segue. It is fidgety the way this knife is fidgety, except writ large. This is a little bit smaller, but a great knife. So that's by the way, that's long for. I got to get the Mayhem. I know I do, but it's a little pricey. I gotta say, it is a little pricey. But anyway. Let's get to this. This is the Civivi Vision FG. You all know this knife. This is designed by Snex. That's how I pronounce his name. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But I used to follow him on Instagram, or when he used to post to Instagram. Not sure if he still does or if I got unsubscribed from him. But he is a bit of a genius when it comes to making uniquely engineered modern folders, and he would make, like, I remember him making a batch of 20 of this one knife, and I remember watching the whole thing go together over a year, and then people buying them, people like Jim Skelton and a couple of like 20 other lucky people. And I've just always thought his work was really cool and kind of advanced. So it was great to see we take his design on, and then Civivi, and that's what this is, the Vision FG. But it has something that kind of like the Mayhem's lock. What the hell is that called? The Atlas lock, and sort of like that in that you pull back on it, and sort of like the Shark lock in that it's on the spine and you pull back on it. But they're all different locking mechanisms. It's just that how you actuate them are similar. Um, and so the fidget factor is similar on all those knives, the Shark lock knives, the Mayhem, and this. Um, and I just love this knife. I think it is very, very cool. I love the blade. The blade shape is extremely useful. I haven't cut anything with it, but you can just tell you've got a little bit of a sweep. You've got a point going down center line. So you got a little bit of belly to rock with, and then the way the edge is angled away from the handle, you can use this kind of easily on a board if you needed to rock, do a rocking motion with it. Just a very useful and cool EDC knife, and something that's like, a conversation starter. And I hate that expression, but it's kind of like that. It's unique and different and interesting, and you can get it in a couple of different flavors. I know it's got one with Ivory G10 and Damascus, and that one is probably a little less threatening than this, but I think they're non-threatening. It's a non-threatening design to me. It looks kind of like a folding kitchen knife, in a way. All black, of course, is a little more menacing, but man, look at that. Very, very cool knife. So yeah, I want to get the Mayhem. And I love this kind of fidget. I love that kind of fidget factor right there. Even though I don't do it that much, I don't sit there and endlessly fidget, but I like the feeling of that smooth release. This just has a smooth release, and then it just glides down. Very nice. Civivi, just doing cool stuff. What can I say? Dwayne Letterman, nice to have you here, Dwayne. Today, Giant Mouse Atelier, the QSP Camo Carbon Hedgehog. Yes, I love the Hedgehog. What a cool knife that is. I have the Jig Titanium and the Rosecraft OG. OG. I'm not sure which one that is. Is that the Kayak? I love the Kayak. This knife is really great. This knife is really great. Weird angle. I mean, it looks a little odd, looks a little different, but man, is it a utilitarian and incredible knife. Was that the hoof thing from Goodfellas? Yes, it was, Craig Vincent. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. There's a hoof. It's a hoof. Yeah, and he's got the ketchup. And I always used to, with those old ketchup bottles, the tomato ketchup or the glass ketchup bottles, if it wasn't coming out, I was always taught that you hit against the widening portion of the neck, so kind of in the reverse action, and that's what gets it out. But Robert De Niro has the bottle upside down, and he's doing this, and just all this ketchup is pouring out. It's pretty gross, actually. It's a lot of ketchup. But yeah, great scene. Great scene. Byron Kennedy says, what's this diss? 60, there's 30 likes. Smack that like button or end up on the island of misfit blades. I like that. I don't see it as a diss. I see it as what's the apathy. It's kind of like, I could, but this guy's kind of annoying. I don't know. I don't know. Robert Strebin, nice to see you here, Robert. I see lacrosse. I see soccer. I see basketball and football, and maybe baseball in the middle. Nice to have you here. Hey, Bob and fellow junkies. Just saying hi before I start my shift. I'll be watching the replay in the morning. Have a good night to you all. Well, have a good night to you, man. I hope your shift is a productive one. It'd be great if you have time to kick back and read, but I don't think that's the kind of shift you're talking about. So work hard and then listen to this later, and have a great night. Greg Maroney, I want the new blacked out Kaiser Veritas. I love my original Veritas. I know it's not Veritas like truth, but what is that? What is that knife? Veritas. I remember when that came out. Yep, Kaidan is a small fixie, says Brojack Horsemail. Sounds wait. Oh, no. I'm thinking of what's his name? Lucas Burnley. Pete Davidson says G Sakai Silver Knight is like an Almar Falcon, medium size, mid backlock. That sounds nice. I love the old Almar. I love those Almar designs. Okay. Thank you. 5-door is pronounced African rosewood. Thank you. Jay Sheen, I can pronounce it. I thought it was tough, but apparently I can pronounce that just so easily. Rosewood. Well, I love rosewood. We have it on guitars. I have it on 2 right behind me. Jay Sheehan says, just got a Fred Perrin short neck knife. I have one that I love. Very small, but very effective for self-defense. I mean, it is wickedly thin, Jay. I think we might have the same knife. Wickedly thin and full flat ground. Has a nice little sweep up on the spine and great jimping, and it's not coming out of your hand. Gary, pardon me. Gary Bucco. Sorry for the weird spelling and word choice. I'm talking to my phone. I hate this thing. Smiley face. Did you say smiley face? Northern Knives says, everyone hit that thumbs up. Yeah. Hit the thumbs up. Smash it even. I appreciate that, guys. I do appreciate that. Chicken fried steak says, crossed fingers and toes. Good luck, everyone. Yep. We already gave the knife away, but if you're talking about for next week, oh yeah. And then in weeks beyond, I have a Off-Grid Knives Grizzly. That's that camp kitchen knife I'm always talking about that I love so much. Giving one of those away. We got another Tucson, some Civivi, we got a Kaiser, we got a lot of cool stuff here, mostly thanks to Off-Grid and thanks to this old sword. We also have a cool karambit coming up. Greg Maroney, don't forget about O-Lights, O-Buy, free daily spins at minimum 150 O coins per day. Not sure what that means. I think that's why O-Buy reached out to me only once. And well, I think I sold a couple of knives for them, but I didn't get all the coin stuff, and well, they didn't actually have that at that point, but they had some interesting. Anyway, Todd Carr says, why does everyone talk about disarming someone in a fight? Probably easier to just remove the hand versus the whole arm. Oh, that's bad. That's a dad joke. That's a knife fighting dad joke. I love that. Todd, I love that. I need to remember that. Can you go back, Jim? I have to repeat that. It'll stay in my mind. I'll tell my daughter tomorrow and I'll get an eye roll. But some people, I have friends who will like this. Todd Carr says, why does everyone talk? Todd Carr jokes. Why does everyone talk about disarming someone in a fight? Probably easier just to remove the hand versus the whole arm. I love that. You're right. It's true. Okay, we can move on. But Todd, thank you. I'm well armed with an extra dad joke. Hero Stick says, love those new rose crafts you picked up, Bob. Rough Rider has a few slip joints I'm going to sample as well. I'm intrigued as a few of them look really good for cheap. Okay. Funny you should say that because I have one right here. This is a cool one. Who did I see? Maybe Thrifty Kniffy or someone showed this off, and I was like, damn, that looks sweet. Okay, so this is Willard James. I love the beard. Nice to have you here, Willard. Thank you, sir. It shows my age. So this is let's see, what are they calling this? The Rough Rider Cattleman. And unlike what you would imagine a cattleman to be, like a stockman with a punch, this is kind of a classic American jackknife and big. And this is like $15, or no, I'm sorry, this is $20. And it's got this beautiful cinnamon bone on both sides, very nicely done bone, pinched nickel silver bolsters with a single thread. Very nice fit on this, very nice fit and finish on this. You can feel it. And then I hold it up to the light and no gap. Wait, is this the one? There's a very slight gapping right here that you can see a little bit of light through at the right angle. But for this, it's for Rough Rider, it's pretty damn awesome. I mean, for any knife, case has a lot of gapping, and I still love them too. But this knife has a very nice pen blade here. This is carbon steel too, by the way, carbon steel, guys. So this is a nice knife, especially for the price. So you got a nice swedge on that pen blade. It comes really sharp. I refined the edges a little, but they come, very sharp. Nice walk and talk on this. Pretty good snap in. And then this is the only problem. It's a hard to reach, but a great clip point main blade. So you got a nice snap open and carbon steel blade. I used this on some food lunch today. Apple and what else? Apple and a salami sandwich. I think that's mostly just from the apple. I want to get a patina, see how this works. I like the shiny blade, but if I want to take it back and almost polish it out, but I want to see how this carbon steel takes a patina. But a nice big working jackknife. That blade is like, well, let's see how big is that blade. Yeah, it's like 3 inches or 3 1/4. That's my totally unscientific way of doing it because I don't have my ruler here, but it's about 3 1/8 maybe, but a nice size for a slip joint and classic styling. I love the match strike pull there. Let's see if that'll focus. Match strike pull, nice swedge. Also, they have their very new series that people are going crazy over. Trusted voices like Big Red EDC and Pat, not Patty. I don't think he's looked at them yet, or if he will or has. But bunch of other people. The Appaloosa Bone. People are loving the Appaloosa Bone Rough Rider series, and again, you're paying $15 to $20 for really well done knives. I like the carbon steel. They use 440A steel, so their steel is not the best, but I mean, you're not really getting it to get the best steel. You're getting it for a nicely made, inexpensive slip joint with traditional styling, and you know, you're not using it to do tons and tons of hard work. Blade Ogre says the Rough Rider and Rough Rider Reserve clasp knives are tons of bang for the buck at 18 and 43 each right now. All right, I'm gonna have to get a clasp knife. I love the way they look, and that's why I loved the Black Rhino. I always bring up the Black Rhino cold steel discontinued knife that I wish they'd bring back. That big classic clip point blade with the clasp, the whole thing. It's the clasp knife profile. Such a cool knife. Nomadic Adventure says, I didn't win a hashtag knife. Not this time, Nomadic, but maybe next time. Let's see. Todd Carr says the Cold Steel Mayhem is 260 at Midway USA, I believe. That's a lot. That's a lot, I think. They have 2 versions of it. So maybe 260 is for the S35VN version. The OS 10A version, I hope, is not that expensive. Craig Vincent says, I gifted approximately 30 to 40 knives in the past year, mostly to people who have never carried. All but a few have since told me they use their knife in a way they never thought they would need. That is so great. I love hearing that, man. I've converted people too, I got to say. And over this past year, 2 that it was very unexpected. So 2 people that I was very unexpected that really took to it. So I love that. Emerson Ed Calderon Elvia says, Sean. Hey, Sean Lowkey. Nice to have you here, sir. Love that knife. Love the Elvia. I have one with the aftermarket wave on it, but I'd always wanted one with a wave. And I was always a little bitter and a little turned off by the fact that they didn't build the original one with a wave. It needs a wave. It's a tactical knife. It's like the most tactical knife, and it's made by Emerson. Why would they choose not to put a wave on that? I know that they put a wave on a subsequent run, but that feels like, I don't know. Didn't seem right. Craig Vincent, I have all but between the Shark, Atlas, and Super Locks. I like the Atlas the most. Really? Okay, now why? Is that you like the actuation of it, the use of it, or do you think does it feel like the most secure? I think it's got what, 2 pins and then a slot that slides something like this. Here like this. Hero Sticks says, "Gotta get that Vision FG." I would agree. It's so cool. Also want the Bull Shark. Elementum Fixie and the Push Dagger Fixed Blade Typhos. Civivi had another solid year. Which one's the Bull Shark? I want the one from Sencut that has a goofy name that looks like a sax or a clip point. It's a new one. Nomadic Ventures. I smashed the like button so hard my screen cracked. Invoice in the mail about booby. All right. Well, thank you, sir. I'll buy you 2 computers because you deserve it. Hero Stick says, "I'm curious who folks would choose for best budget brand of the year. Civivi, CJRB, Vosteed, Kaiser. All had a pretty banner years from my perspective." Yep, in my list of favorites, here's a CJRB, one of my favorites this year. This is the large pyrite, just a great, well done button lock. Probably my favorite. Yeah, that and the Sentinel Strike. These 2 are on my list. My 2, 2 of my favorite button locks from this year. 2 great knives. But yeah, this CJRB, they are great. I love Artisan too. Sean Loki, the MKM Terzuola TPF Defense. Been on my radar for months. Dave, I'm not sure if this old sword is still with us tonight, but he just was showing that off. That's a sweet little honey. Craig Vincent, Bob, are you a musician? Yeah, I play bass. Played a lot when I was younger. Now I noodle around. Yeah, yep. I got 2 basses back there. One of them is a short scale, so you can't see it. Oh, there you go. There you go. Ibanez is the short scale, and a Fender Precision is the big. Willard James, nice to have you. Oh, I already said hello to you, but I'll say it again. Nice to have you here, Willard. You planning to come to Blade Show Texas this year, Mr. Bob? My booth number is T5. If you're coming, make sure to swing by. Damn, I will. If I do come, my wife encouraged me last year. She said, "Why aren't you going?" So I got to find out when is that February? Geez, man, we spent a lot of money going to Germany, and things have been expensive, man. But maybe by February, Texas will be in order. I got to start planning now. Thank you for the heads up. Hero Sticks, and thank you for the invite to your table. I will most definitely come by and say hi and hopefully buy a knife. Hero Sticks says another fun category to discuss might be 2023 brands on decline. Benchmade ZT. Ooh, that's bittersweet. It's not even bittersweet. It's just bitter. You're bitter, Hero. No, I'm just kidding. Benchmade. I don't know if they're on the decline. To me, they've always held steady as they're almost like it's like as long as there are police officers and as long as there are police officers and like feds and stuff like that, Benchmade will be fine because all the police officers I've met love Benchmade knives. And so I think that there are a lot of people in service and in public service and public safety who love Benchmade. So I think Benchmade will be around. But I'm never like, oh, this exciting thing from Benchmade. I mean, I love that Shane Sibbert has worked with them a bit, with the Adamas and there have been other cool designs here and there. I love the Bug Out. It's a great knife and there's some cool stuff, but yeah. And ZT, oh, a hollow shell of what they once were. As a matter of fact, look at this. I mean, this is peak ZT, if you ask me. This is the 630 or 620. Sorry, 630. This is one of the Emerson collaborations, one of 3 that he did, sort of based on the blade of the Tiger or the blade of the CQC 8 on this a really cool handle. Great, tough, hard use knife. This knife cut all the carpet in this basement. Well, in not the whole basement, but in a room, my wife's office, when we were redoing it. I just decided, I was going to use this, and it worked great. And did I ever? Something's up with the edge there. Just looking at it here, I need to baby that edge a little bit, but really great knife, really sturdy work knife, but also cool and tactical and great design and like, again, hard use, but not as big as some of the other ones. And they really have been disappointing by just like pulling out old faves and giving them a new makeover. But they've released a couple of new knives and they've all been underwhelming. Not that I've had them, but in terms of like desire, they haven't built the desire. Pete Davidson, I wish Cold Steel brought back the old Talwar. Oh yeah. And the Black Sable. Those are cool. I know which one you're talking about. And then they have the old cheap Talwar, because after they made the old one, the fancy Talwar with the little knobby handle, in shiny G10 and shiny aluminum, they came back with it with GFN. Todd Carr, yeah, I just checked. That's that OS 10 version of the Mayhem for $250. They just did have the S35 V, and it's the same price, limited time only. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. Here's one that came out in 2023 that I love. I've shown this off a bit recently. Here it is, the Cayman XXL Bowie from Off Grid Knives. So cool. And it comes in the Coyote Tan and Gray Blade, or the Coyote Tan handle with the Gray Blade and black handle with Stonewash. I just absolutely love this. Nova 2. Yes, we're going to start working on the prototype in probably February. Craig Vincent says, although the placement on the Atlas is slightly less ideal compared to the other two, it just feels the smoothest and most fidgety to me. And also, it's got a big, giant blade that is going to do a lot of thwacking due to the weight. February, so third week in February. All right, thank you, Blade Ogre. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'd like to go. I really liked going down for the Texas Custom Knife Show. I really like Texas. Let me put it that way. Didn't experience enough to say I love Texas, but I have a very good opinion of it already. So Sean Loki says, in my opinion, ProTech had a hell of a year. If this is any indication, I would have to agree with you. This is amazing. Exciting for Spyderco Mule teams. That is exciting year for Spyderco Mule teams. It's kind of a test bed where they do new steels, which is kind of cool. Craig Vincent says, outstanding, Bob. I too play bass for over 30 years. Very nice. Good thing I don't collect basses like I do knives. No kidding. I would love to have a Rickenbacker. I love the way they sound, and I love the way they look. They're classics. I'd love to have a Hamer Explorer bass. Yes, a Hamer. I think they are cool. They were kind of boutiquey. And Def Leppard, guy in Def Leppard played them. And when I was 12 years old and coming of bass age, I just locked onto that thing, and I was like, that's the ultimate. Yeah, Explorer, bright red, down low, where I can't play very well. But Michael Young says Atlantic Knife has the Mayhem for $237, no tax, free shipping. Thank you, Michael, and it's nice to have you here, Michael, and thanks for the tip. For everyone, I will be getting mine on the secondary, I think, if at all. Pete Davidson says, I also miss the Ontario. Oh, yes, the Bagwell Bowies, the Bagwell Buoys. Indeed, I miss them too. Yeah, those are. I love I like all Bowies, but I love the long, slender, tapering with the long swedge, fighting nature of those, the Hell's Bells buoys and such. Northern Knives, ZT is taking a weird direction regarding innovation, and Benchmade is also taking a weird direction regarding price. I don't pretend to know what they think, but it's an odd turn of events. Well, wait. Innovation in what way? Uh, Regarding ZT, I get the price thing with Benchmade. All you got to do is look at their recent luxury release. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't think it was that great looking, and man alive, was that expensive. Craig Vincent, that's interesting because I got the S35 version of the Mayhem for $259 last month. Rickenbacker is a Grail base, no doubt. No doubt. Hero Sticks, ZT0640 has been on the radar a long time, but not much more. If I was in the ZT front office, I'd aim to secure a few new designs from some proven and progressive designers, might bring them back. Yeah, and you know what? Like, just because I think they're trying to trend follow, and I think a company like ZT would always appeal to guys like me and a lot of people here who will never get sick of hard use knives or tactical folders. Like, just do what you do best and what you came into existence to do in the first place, and do more of that, and stop trying to be everything to everyone. Like when they came out with the goofy slip joint, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it was great, but it was kind of like, why are you doing that? I liked the Sinkovich knives, but that's about as slight as I would want to go. The 0460, for instance. I had that knife and I sold it. It was a nice knife, the trailing point, but it was just too light. It was starting to feel too not sturdy enough. Anyway, Sean Loki says, if you don't pick up any Todd Begg this year, you are sleeping. I might agree with you on that, and I haven't. But I'm very interested in the Warcraft stuff, the fixed blades. Northern Knives, one new knife year. Oh, wait, hang on. Before I get to Northern Knives, that just makes me think, Sean Loki, of the Harbor Freight copy of the Glimpse. That took a little nerve, huh? Was that Harbor Freight that copied it? I think so. Northern Knife says, one new knife a year, ZT, really? Yeah, who's looking for a $300 bayonet lookalike? Yeah. You know what? I'd love to get the 308, the 0308. Cool looking knife, and feels great in hand and all of that. But, flying too close to the sun with the price. Maybe if you were doing it's like a day late and a dollar too much. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Unless it's really easy to explain. And it's that ZT hasn't been doing enough of stuff that I like, and I'm cheap. Those two things could both be possible. Let me show you something else cool that Dave sent along. Have you seen this? I'm sure you've seen it, but have you used it? Have you held it? Do you have it? This is the Spiny Dogfish by Gavco Knives. Very, very cool knife. The blade is pretty cool. And the handle is thin, and it does look like a spine. It kind of suits. I don't know. These are evocative of a spine, and I know Spiny Dogfish does not refer to its spine, but I don't know, something about that. This knife, with that low tip and the stouter grind up front, the thicker grind up front, and the thinner grind back here. This is just, and then the shape of the handle begging to be used like this. This is just, it locks in there kind of like this. You don't need anything else. You could so easily use it just with two fingers in your palm. It's a really nice knife, and cool. The handle does feel a little thin in a regular grip, I gotta say. But you might be the kind of person who chokes up when they see a choil, they just move like water into that space. And if so, if you're that guy, this choil, you'll be happy about that. It's perfectly placed. It feels really good in hand, much better in hand, choked up, I guess. And since I'm not a choke up kind of guy, it feels a little thin here, but this feels great. This feels great. I could cut open boxes of other Civivis all day long like this. Yes, very much. Spiny Dogfish is on bearings and right? Yep, it's on bearings and you got that nice opening hole. And since it's a liner lock, you can do it with your left hand. I can do it with my left hand. Very nice grind on this. Just a beautiful knife and unique and different. And then you've got cool rock pattern in here by Mr. Gavick of Gavco Knives. So cool. Love it. He seems like a nice guy. I've invited him on the show. It was a long time ago, Michael Gavick, and he said, my English isn't so good. And I said, I bet it's fine. And it didn't happen, but he just seems like a super nice guy. I used to watch his videos a lot. He used to do how-to knife making videos, 10, 15 years ago. And yeah, his career is just blown up. He's making just such cool stuff. Todd Carr says, how ZT have fallen back in the day. I'm sorry, how ZT have fallen. Back in the day, every knife action was compared to ZT. Nowadays, I forgot about that. People barely know they exist. That's right. The 0450 and 0460. That's right. I forgot about that, Todd. Everyone did compare the action to that. Yeah. It's too bad. Maybe it's just not tenable. Maybe they just make so much more money with Kershaw that they're just like, ZT will let you have 1-2 designs a year, if that. And I don't know why they're suddenly in the Bronx or whatever that accent is, but maybe it has something to do with that. Greg Vincent says, I don't yet have any ZTs, Beggs, Hinderers, Reeves, or Randalls. I have miles to go before I sleep. Craig? Yes, you do. However, you don't need those to be happy. There are so many cool things happening with knives now that if you're not already attached to a brand like that, you don't need, you could do other stuff. You can get other great stuff for less, get more of it, really learn what you like and what you want to go from there, and have a big collection of knives to use as barter and trading material when society collapses. If you have a significant other to whom you have to justify your knife collection, say, I don't know, things don't look so good out there in the world and in society, and things might collapse. And yeah, we got some other stuff we could trade, but everyone needs a knife. So I'm keeping this as a hedge against disaster once society collapses. And she'll be like, man, I'm so lucky I ended up with you. I wasn't even thinking like that. Let's get more knives. That's how it works. Five Door says, I have the spiny dogfish and I have enjoyed it. I slide into the choil like an olive into a martini. Yes, sir. Ooh, that sounds good right about now. I kind of like dirty martinis with all the olive juice. Pete Davidson, good night, sirs. Pete Davidson, good night, man. Great having you with us. Back to the salt mine for me. Swapping out the Desperado for a Chance Integral dagger tonight. Ooh, Pete, you've got an awesome collection. In case I get ambushed by a bunny yip, Australian Bigfoot. Oh, man. Oh, I thought they called them yowies. Anyway, bunny yip. How cool. And I believe in them. So you're not making a joke to me. I'm like, be careful. They're out there. I bet Northern Knives knows something about that. The ZT the ZT 561 Hinderer design was a home run. It was indeed. I had the 562. That's the one that was beige, I guess. The Emerson designs were home runs. Are relegated to the secondary market now. I used to collect ZTs. Now I shop for older models. My brother gave me a 0200. Love that. That's a Ken Onion design. And then I have the one Sinkovich, the 0452 that I love so much, CF. I have the 3 Emersons. And that's it. Just five ZTs. I used to collect them too, but I got rid of most of them. Craig Vincent says, I like quality, but at my core, I'm a quantity junkie. Oh, this would have been better. I like quantity, but at my core, I'm a quantity whore. I am too. I mean, but I like both. Um, and that's not always, I come in and out of phases. We all come in and out of phases. The Gavco and Caviso Nurse and the Kirby Lambert and Caviso Rain are a couple more getaways I'm going to hunt in 2024. That's what I was talking about. The Caviso Rain, especially in brown micarta. Ooh, so beautiful. Bunny Yip are on the coast, often mistaken for crackheads. Nice. All right. Yeah. We got them. It's nothing to joke about. But in Philadelphia, man, what they're smoking on the street. I know it's not just Philadelphia, but I've seen so many videos of Kensington and other North Philly neighborhoods with people on something, and it makes crack look like vitamin C. And they're just kind of slumped over, like just shuffling around. It's creepy to see. Hero Sticks, for the briniest of palates, a blue cheese stuffed olive is premier in a dirty martini. That just sounds freaking delicious. That just sounds so good. And for some reason, a boiled egg on the side. I know that sounds weird, but CRKT, Sean says, CRKT Ken Onion Redemption. Oh, yeah. The dagger-like one. Oh, and that blade hid completely in the handle. Is that I'm trying to see what that emoji is. Are you crying or are you like, what's up with that? The Ken Onion Redemption I like because it looked different from any other Ken Onion. And it also had a blade that I think goes completely into the handle, which means that if the swedge is anything like the swedge on the off-grid Stinger that we gave away tonight, you could easily sharpen it because it's thin, and then you could have a full-on dagger in that knife. Big Jimpin, nice to see you. Knives or wives? I say both. I say knives and wife. not, I don't need wives. I just need wife. Craig Vincent, once on a family camping trip, I thought I had an encounter with Bigfoot, but it was just my big sister. She really looked the part. Oh, it was in Blade Show 2021, I guess. Someone walked through in a Bigfoot costume, and I was talking with someone, and they said, I don't know, it struck me so funny, something about their ex-wife, and it was just funny. I don't know. I want USA made CRKT Shenanigans. Great design. Yeah, remember when the Shenanigan came out? It had rusting issues, and they meant to release it in one steel or marked it as one steel, but it ended up being something else, like D2 or something that was not corrosion resistant. I remember that. So Shenanigan, a very apropos name. I know. I don't think it was on purpose. Nomadic Adventure says, knife a day keeps the wife away. Well, that's for sure. Yep. If you don't have one already, it will, because you will have spent your engagement ring money on a couple of Randalls. David Helka, nice to see you here, David. That Cayman XXXL says Cryo D2. Is there a difference between just good old D2? I asked Kerry that last time he was here, and his explanation, and we talked about Cryo also with Laren Thomas last time he was on, and it increases toughness. I don't always listen. No, I'm just kidding. I try, but I think it increases toughness. I've heard people kind of snicker at the fact that that Off Grid actually says Cryo D2 on the steel, like a lot of people cryogenically treat their steels. So to say Cryo is kind of odd, or kind of just like a little extra marketing. But I think that's what it was. I think it was toughness. It does something. Trust me. Big Jimpin says, quality wife, quantity knives. Yes, Big Jimpin. I couldn't agree more. By the way, great name and good to have you with us. Hero Sticks, if it's fentanyl plaguing Kensington and many other urban cores, awful stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Yep. But they also have something with ketamine, some sort of like, so they're in K-holes at the same time. What the fuck, man? Excuse my French. Just not my style of entertainment. Did not a Squatch chase you and a college friend through the woods with a Bowie? You, not the Squatch. No, I don't think so, or I didn't at the time. But I was chased through the wood. No, I wasn't chased. I was lost in the woods. Got lost in the woods around Lake George. Night fell. No flashlight. I had the trail master on my hip. This was like 25 at least years ago at this point, and it could have been my imagination. It probably was, could have been, or maybe it wasn't. But I do remember feeling like I kept hearing that sound, like when you're walking and it feels like you hear your own footsteps, but they're over there, and I felt like that. But I thought at the time like it was a cougar or something. But in retrospect, cougars are quiet, wouldn't let you know that you were there, and I don't think they pace you. And now I'm like, am I making this all up? I was scared. I know I was scared. And I do know I felt like we were being stalked, but I don't know if I was actually, I don't remember if I was feeling that or if I was just imagining it. Anyway, Knife Nut 69. Nice to have you here. Well, one of the knives better stab me in the back. What? One of my knives never. Yes. No, never. Never. Don't ever let that happen. I just saw something where someone with a neck knife killed themselves accidentally. I don't know if that's true, but I think it was on like an MSM Microsoft network that I have to have at work, landing page or something, one of the stupid news stories. And I was like, no way did that actually happen. And then I thought, I don't know, if I had a neck knife on, and let's say I was like really drunk and I was used to like indexing the sheath and getting it and then pushing it against my chest, which is a bad idea to knock it home. And I was really drunk and I didn't actually get it in the right spot. And then I really, with great force, jammed it into my chest and it went into my heart. I guess you could kill yourself with a neck knife like that. But yikes. I mean, the way I always thought you kill yourself with a neck knife is with the cord accidentally choking you somehow. But yeah, that's Kensington and Allegheny Avenue. It's like the Outer Ring on some sci-fi movie. Pat D's Nuts says, are you in the area, Pat? Or have you seen some of the videos I've seen? Cryo adds a hardness point or two. Oh, hardness, not toughness. Okay. Yeah, because you're freezing it, man. It stays a little bit frozen. Blade Ogre says, thanks again for another awesome show, Bob and Jim. Night all. Have a great weekend. Chris, have a nice evening. I, too, am pulling into the station. David Helka says, Cryo D2 definitely sounds cooler. It does. Pun. It does sound cooler. Cooler. Get it. Yes, I got it, Bob. I'm the one who made the joke. He said, Hero Sticks, you might have weighed in already, Bob, but you have one that got away for 2023. Also would love to know what designers are tops on your list to have on the show. I have well, I want Doug Marcaida. I've been ever since I met him, we've been trying to get him on the show. You said top designers. I'd like to talk to Bill Howard. I would like to. Well, I have a list of them. I have a long list. But what got away? I can't remember the name. Sorry, this is a terrible story. The VBR, the Varga SBR. That's the one that got away. All right, I gotta end this. I'm not thinking straight. Craig, Bob, my family used to camp at Lake George. Maybe you saw my sister too. That's funny. Yes, she was stalking me. Lake George is so beautiful. That's funny. That's a good way to to come around, like how a comedian starts with something and at the end they wrap back to that. That was good. Sean Loki, good year for SK5, Spartan Raider, and CRKT HZ6. Very nice. I love the Spartans, man. I love the Spartans. Knife Nut 69 says, if I remember correctly, they has a janky sheath and fell on it. Oh, went right through. Oof. Well, God rest his soul. That's a terrible death, man. Northern Knives, thanks for all the fun, y'all. Thanks, Northern Knives, and thanks one and all for joining us. Byron, have a great night. Good night, all. He says, see you next week. See you next week, Todd Carr. Great live, Bob and Jim. Have a great night, everyone, and keep the things sharp and things fun and enjoyable. Thank you, sir. We will. And for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, please don't take dull for an answer. So corny.